So hi, I'm Stephanie.
My name's Haven.
I'm Jess.
I'm Jason. Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet y'all. So first, I wanted to start off with the first reading that we had, which was, and I apologize for the way I'm about to say all their names. So please correct me if I'm wrong. I think his name's Hegel. So basically, he was a German philosopher who believed in absolute idealism. So basically, that the idea that the world is best understood through the mind. So that's kind of what I got from him. Anyone else have anything to add to that?
I was kind of going on that one. I was thinking like, because he was saying a lot about like it said like A, B, and C, or like the synthesis and athesis or something like that. And so I was thinking like it's like him trying to find like a similar idea between like things that are like the opposite, Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was understanding, like getting from that is. For his first part, the other one about the state.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of confusing to me, not gonna lie, but I don't know, I was just reading over it and I was like, what do y'all think that he's saying, like with the state and like the society part?
I put that the state represents like a rational universe that meditates between the public and private spheres, ensuring that both individual freedom and collective well-being are being incorporated to create an ethical sociological order. So basically like the state is like in the highest form of like human organization in a way. Like every state has like like a specific type of like community in a sense. So that's kind of what I had to say about that. And
yeah, he didn't want to get it too far from like oligarchy and anarchy. Like he was kind of in between,
right?
Like social orders and everything, and everyone kind of had its place. It felt like it was more like he was kind of leaning towards a socialist kind of plan.
Yeah.
I hear that.
But like really he just wanted the like bureaucracy to kind of have like rationality and not be too overpowered. And there's like a lot of checks and balances in it too.
Yeah. I wrote like a little bit of like questions for each philosopher, and one question that I wrote for like Hegel specific questions was what does Hegel mean by like the end of history? Like, do you think that history has an endpoint?
That's a good question. Because, I mean, I don't know. I really don't think so. Maybe one day, but I guess it just depends on what you believe too.
Yeah. I think like society is like always rapidly changing, that like every I don't know, decade, it's so different. So I feel like history, I don't think history will ever have like an exact endpoint in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to say. History really never ends because, I mean, 5 minutes ago was technically history. So at this point, we've already been making while we're on this recording. So at whatever point history stops, I mean, the world will cease to exist. So that's kind
Yeah.
of.
No, I totally agree with that. Jason, do you have anything to say about that?
Um, I guess it does have an endpoint, but I don't know what he like philosophically what he means by like an endpoint. Maybe
Mhm.
like individuals stop writing history and the states start writing it or such.
Okay.
Is it moved by that like governments
Like if you want to,
or just or anarchy takes over or something like that? There's no stability.
yeah. I mean, it was kind of like an open question. So if you want to talk about it, government wise, you can. I don't know, like if that's something that you think.
I mean, it's just philosophically is what I'm kind of meaning. Like, is it the people? Is it the will of the people to interpret history, or is it the government's will to interpret history of what defines it, kind of thing? You know?
Yeah. I think that can be like a very I think like person to person question, you know, like about, because I feel like people could interpret history a lot more different than the government can.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's like a very, it can be a very controversial question, I think.
Yeah, I mean, every person thinks of it differently. Just like, I mean, we all experience, take the pandemic for an example. That's something that's going to go down in the history books for everybody. But how I experienced it is probably different than how y'all experienced it, because y'all may have still been in high school. I don't know. I don't know how old y'all are, but and how I experienced it is going to be different than how y'all experienced it, because I'm married, I have kids, you know, I have children, I have a family. How I experienced is different than how, you know, y'all may have experienced it.
No, yeah, I definitely agree on that.
Which is crazy, because we all went through the same thing, but we didn't.
Yeah.
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 Like it brings the same feeling, but we didn't all go through the same experience.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
Yeah, because that was like the longest spring break of my life. Like,
my
kids went home for spring break, and then they just never went back. And then I had to teach them school, and then I became a teacher, and then it was crazy. Everybody learned how to do everything differently.
Yeah, I think that's also,
Yeah.
it was also hard for,
It was a whole lot of adapting, that's for sure.
Yeah. Is there anything else that anyone wants to say about Hegel?
I thought it was interesting that he compared like the state to God in the book on page 11. Yeah, I wanted to go back and look at that because when I was reading it, I just kind of read it kind of fast and I didn't really think about it very much. But yeah, that was it on him. More.
I think for him it was also just about like higher power. Like that was something that he like really truly believed in, I think. Like spiritually.
Yeah.
So now we'll talk about Marx and Frederick. So I put that they believe that history is driven by like class struggle, like with working class, that eventually rising up to overthrow the capitalist ruling. So yeah, what do y'all think about them two?
They basically started communism, or gave the idea to communism. Well, they started with Marxism first.
Right.
knowing that the state can't have too many powers and all that stuff. So we all know how communism works. Everyone pays their dues and everyone gets an equal share.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm trying to like flip through all my stuff that I have here. How do you think that like Marx and Frederick would critique modern capitalism? Like, do you think like their ideas are still like relevant today in a sense, or how would you interpret that?
Oh, they'd be furious with how we are.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They would not be very happy.
Like how they're seeing like corporations and governments like just getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer. It's abhorrent.
Yeah.
Yeah, like complete.
Like we're going through a very big class struggle at this point.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I just want to say that I got a message on my Zoom saying that we have like 10 minutes left. If it ends, I'll just send another link. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, it's because like I guess I don't have like Zoom Pro or something, so we can only go for so long.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, so I will just send another link and we'll just hop on. But in case it goes black, you know why. But yeah, no, I agree. I think this isn't like the way that they expected it to be. I don't know. I wouldn't like necessarily like think of a time when like a specific time where we kind of got off track of what they were trying to basically like promote.
With what they're trying to explain or like.
Do you guys think that we could ever go back to a time maybe where there like a theory would align with our society, or no, would it be like very, very difficult?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if enough people decided to like do that, because there's power in numbers, so if enough people wanted like believed in something and wanted to live a certain way, then I feel like we can figure it out.
I feel like oh, go ahead, Jason. Sorry.
I'd probably think it'd probably be like during the civil rights movement that probably could have been achieved.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was like kind of looking for equality, and that would have been like the right kind of basis to put something like social. Oh my gosh, I can't forget socialism or communism into that. But during that we were at a war against communism, so that would have been a little bit contradictory, but it might have had a chance if we weren't in Vietnam at that time.
Yeah. No, I think like also our society, like especially like politically, we're like very, very separated. It's very hard to I guess like agree with one another sometimes. So I think it would be very like extremely hard for both parties to really agree.
Like everybody would have to agree in a way.
Yeah, be like an entire reform of our government.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like this world, and like not just the USA, but like the entire world is driven economically a lot. Like that's something that I guess every country really just wants is money. So
yeah. Always someone who just wants money.
I put for one of the kind of like going off of that. If Marx and Frederick were alive today, how might they interpret global inequality?